Have you ever stumbled into a moment that turned your whole world upside down? This is the story of a night that shattered my expectations and revealed a side of my marriage and myself I never knew existed. Picture a hidden lounge bathed in golden light, music that hums in your bones, and a daring leap that changed everything. It's about trust, desire, and discovering that sometimes the boldest choices lead to the deepest connections. If you're ready for a tale that's equal parts thrilling and heartfelt, stick around. Tap that like button, hit subscribe to join the journey, and let's dive into a night that rewrote my heart. The familiar rhythm of my husband Nathan's touch was comforting, like a well-worn path we'd traveled countless times. His hands moved over me with ease, his warmth a steady presence as he drew me close, his breath quickening in a familiar cadence. I closed my eyes, letting the moment wash over me. The heat of his skin, the gentle pressure of his fingers at my waist, the quiet intimacy of our shared space. My body responded as it always did, but something was missing. There were no whispered promises, no lingering glances, no spark of urgency that used to set us ablaze. Once Nathan looked at me like I was his entire world, his eyes hungry with need. Now it felt routine, like a task slotted between dinner and sleep. When it was over, he pressed a quick kiss to my shoulder, murmured a soft, "Good night," and rolled over, his breathing evening out as he drifted off. I lay there, my skin still tingling, my body content, but my heart aching with a quiet void. I wasn't unloved, but I wasn't craved, and that hurt more than I could admit. Staring at the ceiling, I watched shadows dance across the room, the moonlight filtering through our bedroom curtains. Nathan slept peacefully beside me, his face relaxed, unaware of the ache settling in my chest. We had everything: a solid marriage, a cozy home, a life others envied. So why did it feel like something vital was slipping away? We were young, supposed to be wild for each other, tangled in passion and possibility. And in some ways, we still were. We shared tender moments, soft kisses, nights wrapped in each other's arms. But the fire had dimmed. His touches were familiar but not desperate, his kisses sweet but habitual. It wasn't obvious at first. It crept in slowly, like a fog. The late nights at work, the way his phone was always within reach, the subtle flip of the screen when I entered the room, the faint scent of an unfamiliar fragrance on his jacket, something spicy, not mine. I told myself I was overthinking, that paranoia was painting shadows where there were none. But deep down, I knew better. Then, late one night, his phone buzzed on the nightstand, its glow cutting through the dark. Nathan slept soundly, oblivious, as I glanced at the screen. The message was brief but piercing. "Can't wait for tonight. Same spot, same rules." My heart froze, a cold dread curling in my stomach. This wasn't a mistake or a misunderstanding. It was deliberate routine. The words echoed in my mind, each one a sharp twist of the knife. I barely slept, the message looping like a haunting refrain. By morning, I knew confronting him would lead nowhere. Excuses, deflections, maybe even lies. I needed the truth, raw and unfiltered. So when Nathan left that evening, claiming another late meeting, I followed, my resolve outweighing my fear. His car wove through unfamiliar streets, his route too precise to be spontaneous. When he stopped at a sleek, unmarked building tucked in an upscale alley, my fingers tightened on the steering wheel. The place was understated. Tinted windows, soft lighting spilling onto the cobblestone, a single heavy door that whispered exclusivity. It wasn't a bar or a hotel. It was something else entirely. Nathan stepped out, his posture confident, and walked in like he belonged. My pulse hammered, my breath shallow. For a moment I hesitated, my hand hovering over the car door. Then I pushed forward, my legs carrying me toward the entrance before doubt could pull me back. Stepping inside was like crossing into another world. The air was warm, charged with a low hum of music, sultry jazz that wove through murmured conversations and soft laughter. The lounge was intimate, with plush velvet booths, flickering candlelight, and sleek marble accents that caught the golden glow. But it wasn't the decor that made my stomach tighten. It was the atmosphere. People were close, too close. Their interactions laced with an unspoken intimacy. Hands lingered on bare shoulders, lips brushed against ears, quiet promises exchanged in hushed tones. Across the room, a woman leaned into a man's embrace, her silk dress catching the light as it slipped higher on her thigh. Another pair slipped behind a beaded curtain, their laughter fading into something softer, deeper. And then I saw him, Nathan at the bar, standing with a woman. She was laughing, leaning in, her fingers grazing his arm. He didn't pull away. He leaned closer, his ease betraying a familiarity that cut like a blade. My breath caught, my feet rooted to the floor. I'd come for answers, but now I wasn't sure I could face them. My heart pounded, drowning out the lounge's hum as I watched Nathan's body angle toward her, their heads close, their movements effortless, like this was routine. A sharp ache gripped my chest, my fingers curling into fists. I took a step forward, ready to confront him, when a voice stopped me cold. "Well, look who finally showed up." I turned, my pulse lurching. A man stood beside me, his expression amused, his eyes sweeping over me with a knowing glint. I recognized him instantly. Owen, Nathan's boss. His lack of surprise was unnerving, his smile almost expectant. "Took him long enough to bring you," he murmured, sipping a glass of amber liquid, the ice clinking softly. My thoughts scrambled, my breath hitching. Before I could respond, he placed a hand lightly on my back, guiding me forward with a confidence that twisted my anger into curiosity. Nathan had kept this from me, but why? If this was his secret, maybe it was meant to be ours. I held Nathan's gaze as I approached, Owen's hand a steady presence at my back. The woman beside Nathan blinked, her lips parting as if to speak, but I beat her to it. "So," I said, my voice low, trailing a finger down Nathan's chest, feeling his heartbeat quicken beneath his shirt. "This is what you've been hiding?" His throat bobbed, his grip tightening on his glass, but there was no guilt in his eyes, no excuses, just a flicker of hesitation, like he was weighing whether to explain or surrender. Owen chuckled, his voice warm with amusement. "I like her," he said, setting his glass on the bar with a soft clink, his gaze flicking between us. "She gets it." And I did. I should have been furious, should have stormed out, but standing there in the lounge's warm glow, surrounded by possibility, I felt a slow burn of anticipation, not betrayal. I stepped closer, placing a hand on Nathan's chest, his pulse racing under my palm. "You should have told me," I whispered, letting my fingers linger, teasing the edge of his collar. "We could have been sharing this." His breath caught, the air between us electric, charged with unspoken questions. Around us, the lounge pulsed with its own rhythm, hands wandering, soft laughter blending with the music, moments unfolding in quiet corners. No one was watching, yet I'd never felt more seen. I tilted my head, looking up at Nathan through my lashes. "Are you going to let me in?" Before he could answer, a warm touch grazed my shoulder, confident yet gentle, mapping a slow path down my arm. Owen's voice was a low murmur against my ear. "I think she already knows the answer." Nathan moved then, his hand catching my wrist, pulling me close as his lips met mine in a kiss that was deep, urgent, like he was reclaiming something he'd held back for too long. I melted into him, the familiarity of his touch reignited with a new intensity. But the moment wasn't just ours. Another presence drew close, a different warmth. Owen, his fingers tracing a deliberate path along my collarbone, his touch sparking shivers. Then softer, a third presence. Emma, the woman from the bar. Her perfume, a blend of jasmine and amber, mingled with the lounge's warmth as her fingers brushed the strap of my dress, teasing it aside with a gentle ease. "You wear temptation well," she murmured, her voice a soft whisper against my neck. I exhaled, my pulse racing, but not from fear. Nathan watched, his jaw tight, his hand still at my waist, but he didn't stop this. He didn't stop me. His kiss deepened, his fingers skimming my skin with a rediscovery that felt new, alive. Owen's touch was bolder, guiding me between them, his lips hovering near my jaw, his breath warm with a quiet chuckle. "No nerves here," he said. And he was right. I wasn't nervous. I was awake. Emma's fingers grazed my arm, her touch light but intentional, sparking warmth that blended with the rhythm of Nathan's hands, Owen's presence. It was a dance of connection, not chaos. Soft gasps, lingering glances, a shared energy that felt natural, effortless. Nathan's breath was uneven, his grip tightening as he whispered against my throat, "You're incredible." I smiled, turning just enough to catch his eyes, dark with a mix of awe and desire. "You like this, don't you?" I teased, my voice low. His only response was a sharper pull, his body pressing closer, grounding me in the moment. The lounge's golden light wrapped us in its glow, the music a steady pulse, and I let go, surrendering to the connection that built and built, a crescendo of warmth and trust that left me breathless, alive in a way I hadn't felt in years. We moved to a private room, the transition seamless, guided by a hand in mine, Nathan's steady and sure. The space was intimate, with deep burgundy walls, plush cushions, and mirrored panels that reflected the soft amber light. The air was thick with the scent of sandalwood and warmth, quiet murmurs fading into a deeper rhythm. Nathan's grip on my waist tightened, his breath unsteady as he whispered, "I didn't think you'd want this." I cut him off, trailing my fingers down his chest, feeling the tension beneath his shirt. "Or you didn't want to share," I teased, my voice soft but pointed. Owen's touch was a warm presence at my back, his fingers brushing my shoulder, his voice a low hum. "She's already one of us." Emma stepped closer, her gaze warm, her fingers grazing my arm with a knowing smile. "She fits perfectly," she said, her voice a soft melody. The connection unfolded like a symphony. Nathan's urgent kisses, Owen's steady guidance, Emma's playful warmth. Every touch was thoughtful, every moment a shared discovery, building a rhythm that felt both timeless and fleeting. When the intensity peaked, it was like a wave crashing, leaving me trembling with a sense of freedom and connection I'd never known. We sank into the cushions, breathless. Nathan's arms around me, his lips brushing my temple with a tenderness that felt new. Owen's fingers lingered on my arm, a quiet smile in his eyes, while Emma's soft laugh grounded the moment, her hand resting lightly on mine. As we caught our breath, Owen brushed a strand of hair from my face, his voice warm. "You belong here." I laughed, still buzzing because he was right. I'd come seeking answers, but I'd found something greater, a spark, a connection, a new us. After that night, our marriage wasn't the same. The distance was gone. Nathan's touches lingered, his eyes held a renewed fire. Every glance, every word carried a shared heat, a promise of more. Invitations followed, texts, quiet plans, doors we'd once kept closed now wide open. I thought I was losing him, but instead we'd found each other again, woven into a tapestry of trust and desire that felt alive, vibrant, and ours. Was it reckless? Or was it the best choice we ever made? I'll let you decide. What about you? Have you ever crossed a line that changed everything? Drop your boldest, most transformative story in the comments. I can't wait to hear it. Smash that like button. Subscribe to keep the vibes going, and let's celebrate the moments that redefine us. Love this story? Give it a like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more exciting content. This version is more direct, uses stronger verbs, and creates a sense of enthusiasm to encourage interaction.